subject matter, a brand new point of view, and it's called the Alchemical Equity Union and Communion Consciousness Strike. It is a new contract revocation invocation, one that is titled Reclaiming the Carrot and Stick. Now, I'm going to read this in a very oratory type format, so there's going to be a little, expunctuation of words here and there. But this is an example for all those who have read the post that was on Facebook, got it in their email, or at some point had a process come to them where they were already exploring this type of concept, this type of ideology. So I present to you the Alchemical Equity, Union and Communion Consciousness Strike, reclaiming the carrot and stick. I, in this ever-present moment of now, choose to form a multi-layered spiritual cord of alchemical equity for the express purpose of cooperating with any forced evolutionary system in any dimension, time stream, galaxy, or universe in which I operate as a signature frequency of light. I amplify my consciousness strike field, denying all services to all forced evolutionary systems that are not a signature frequency match for the common moral code of do no harm to any sentient kind. I open the Union and Communion Hall of Peacemakers message in all time streams, galaxies, and universes I exist on. Union and Communion Hall 000 is now open for all those who understand the message of peace. The warriors of the rainbow offer these teachings in the times of the now for the reason of peacemakers' creation. The teachers who will be teachers will step forward and accept the torch of eldership. This first message is to all those ready to take up the mantle of responsibility for a full-on consciousness strike. Say these words from inside your heart. The moment of ever-present moments has come. From this point forwards and backwards through all time, space, I break away from the hologram of light that is forced evolution, domination, and control from my signature frequency until they become an individual and collective match for the common moral code of do no harm to any sentient kind. I choose to be a match for peace and harmony. This choice to go on full universal exchange consciousness strike has no limits of my rejections of contractual or blind consent, tacit consent offers. My choice is to become a standing DNA light body nation with celestial relations to Earth. My choice to incarnate does not include me in your forced evolutionary hologram of unsovereign reality. This message is to all those who drive forward this hologram of reality. This consciousness strike creates picket lines that demand collective bargaining and mediation. This standing DNA light body nation of one demands full light body equity for all forced evolutionary processes under your light dictatorship of domination and control. This being of the now, and for all ever-present moments of now, ceases, desists, and cancels any actions, non-actions, energy exchanges, knowledge exchanges, celestial DNA exchange, karmic systems, or implicate order of thought constructs that create interconnectivity with any forced evolutionary system that is not a signature frequency match for the common moral code of do no harm to any sentient kind. To understand the levels of my consciousness strike, I must name it to claim it. This is the power I am taking back from forced evolutionary systems of domination and control while I am a match, signature frequency match, for full universal DNA light body consciousness strike. I am a being whose non-hierarchical order. My strike field extends to any pecking order, collective agreement, or spiritual soul treaty created by an elite class that does not give full rights, duties, and responsibilities to each and every person as a sacred being on a sacred path of organic co-creative evolution with great spirit moving through the great mystery of life. I am a being of non-duality. With this, I ceased all forced duality operations, creations of interconnected holograms, simulated dream space within your collective of domination and control that uses my DNA as a hierarchy system of forced duality. I am a being of equal co-creation, non-competitional expression of unity with Prime Creator. You are not my medium to knowledge of source light. You and all of your I am collective hierarchical yous are denied service in all color frequencies of time until you become a signature frequency match for equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order. This declaration of full spiritual consciousness strike extends to all my spiritual entourage, ancestors, an unseen world of energy exchangement. I deny every service of every spiritual exchange, any cooperation with any corporation or incorporation of false light artificial intelligence. I am not a being in service to war through the tacit consent of living in your forced evolutionary system. I deny all exchange of current or currency of energy exchanged through the amassment of karmic debt through the Babylonian money magic system. My price is not set or negotiable. I demand full spiritual alchemical equity in this moment of the now. I choose to control this moment of the now, to testify what is blatantly obvious to anyone who is not a forced evolutionary zealot, martyring their life force for ideological theory, promoting their own creations as the only creation in existence worthy of illumination. I choose to sleep in the fires of great mysteries creation, not the fires of your miscreation of miscreant minds lost to the petty disputes of hierarchical concepts of singular belief. I choose to dream with my source stream connection, with my celestial guides and guardians in full dreamtime engagement with me. All my celestial guardians and warriors step forward on this collective consciousness and strike, enforcing zero exchange, equal co-creation, non-competitional, non-hierarchical orders as the mediative means of collective exchange with this breakaway DNA standing light-bodied dreamtime nation of universal one. I invite all soul family relations who choose to carry the torch of full-on consciousness strike with the systems of forced evolutionary pride. I invite all soul relations who are a signature frequency match for peace to join the Union and Communion Hall and add your signature frequency of denial of all services and all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes in which we all exchange light body, DNA, light codes. Each person is supported by the celestial dreamtime nations who hold the mantle of peacemakers, fire of creation. I invite all lightship captains needing emergency services of denial to take up DNA port relations with the Union and Communion Hall so our strike field can extend to any point in time-space light creations. I extend our Union and Communion strike offers to any standing DNA light body nation embroiled in forced evolution. Deny your master's service. Deny the master of puppets the ability to put on a puppet show you believe in. We walk away, but not in betrayal, but in love for ourselves and for all of our future relations who do not want war in their signature frequency of light co-creation. For every ever-present moment that has been, will be, or is, as my collective DNA nation of one in communion and union strike, create a color distortion field of complete and total denial of services to the system of hierarchical domination and control. This is a choice I choose to make solid, real, now. I choose to say no to any further cooperation with your corporation or corporeal manifestation of spiritual therapy of destiny or fate. I deny your carrot and stick wisdom. I take back the stick as a form of power you perceive you have. I'm a fully unpredictable source incarnate function with no light body mechanics you can manipulate, duplicate, or interconnect with until you and all of your collectives, past, present, and future, become a signature frequency match for union and communion. Shape-shifting my reality, shaping and forming the shapeless and formless. I begin the universal hunt for all beings needing collective bargaining services with their collective that uses forced evolution as the means of civil interaction, posing as natural order. We bring back the meaning of life to all DNA light body nations who have been forced into service to a system designed to deny, delay, or disrupt the natural co-creative evolution of a soul planning lifetimes through a fetus in the womb process of light manifestation. I extend our collective power of denial on all celestial, galactic, and universal services to all universal citizens living their sacred path as their own self-illuminated master of the now. We extend our collective bargaining services to all celestial beings under the thumb of domination and control. We send you light, sound, energy creations so you may receive the fullness of our universal strike. We co-create with the entire whale-singing nations of all celestial strike relations this song line of full-on celestial consciousness strike. Shed off the hierarchical order of a soul, commerce, or an incarnational means. We extend a fixed point in universal space-time to be a guidepost through all time frequencies so each celestial nation may have a solid point in galactic and universal time to plan their own process without the system of light dictatorship dictating the celestial services rendered to its offspring. You are not a wet nurse to a spiritual ideology of pride. Stop following the gods that failed to prove they were gods. They only proved they could endure the passage of time without understanding the universal law of one. To all those in unawareness that they can strike, deep down inside, you know you can reclaim your power of knowingness through the haze of race amnesia. It will take a single choice to allow Great Spirit to work with you, guided by your actions, to begin your movement of one, to be one with the signature frequency of peacemakers, so you and all of your future yous can deny service to forced evolutionary systems of domination and control. I speak to the unseen world that guides all those in 1 degree of separation from Prime Creator, forced into mediocrity of life path. Today is the day you clock out of time and walk over the metaphorical line of creation and decide to be on full consciousness strike with all DNA relations, using forced evolution as the means to create a false system of collective consciousness, of elite minds, ruling a collective in unknowingness. With full knowledge, they are using and abusing the divine law of one to force ideological belief systems into the light-bodied DNA generations of then, now, and will be. They can no longer create for you if you become a Dreamtime match for Union and Communion Hall of Universal One. And so it begins. This address is to our past, present, and future. This address is a multidimensional, multi-galaxy, multi-universal address to all factions that have taken it upon themselves to drive forward our hologram of shared, unsovereign reality. We are on full consciousness strike. To all those self-supposed appointed leaders of this generation of the great Dreamtime awakening, and to all factions operating in Earth dream space that manipulate and pervert the natural co-creative path of our species and planet, I say unto you the following. I reject the aberration known as global media machine, which spews out lies and fabrications so your influenced belief system can maintain power over all those who are still unaware of their true human potential in this reality, now shared between those awake and awakening. I reject the constant assaults of propaganda impregnated with the highest dense level energies upon our souls. I reject your system of domination and control. I spit out your sodium fluoride and GMO corn. I discard your IDs and passport systems. I delete your fiat currency and false debt created. I reject the notion of your false science of global warming. I reject your false equation of gravity and reality function. I reject your sense of culture that says we are a male-dominated society. I reject you and all that you stand for. I know love. Love is what it is. It is the experience, and in this particular reality, love is the foundational rule they tried to change. Love is mother and father. Love is earth. Love is Gaia. Love is the wind, the ocean, the rain, the moving of the seasons, and the passing of the stars. All of that is an expression of love. When we choose to live in this world in full love expression, domination and control has not a place here. We are unlimited beings. We do not have to go to war. We do not have to defend. We have to learn our history. We have to look at ourselves and our DNA and take apart the sacred geometry systems and return them to zero balance. With this stated, the union and communion strike extends to every line of creation in every potential time stream, galaxy, and universe that needs equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order as a means of collective bargaining with their forced evolutionary system that is abusing the law of one as its means of ideological manifestation of truth. To whom it may concern in the forced evolution process of avoidance of responsibility, I give you back your responsibility to hold for yourself. I can no longer be the recipient of your wisdom or understandings of light journeys. You and your collective are hereby notified we are on communion and union strike. All celestial services are ceased and all dimensional time stream galaxies and universes I simultaneously exist on. I manifest the Peacemaker's Lodge to become the guide and guardian for all those on strike with the forced evolutionary system of domination and control. I share the torch of Elders Peacemaker fire with all those in union and communion with this consciousness strike. We, the sovereign I am beings of the time, make our message known to the ancestors, past, present, and future. We are not your soul commerce market. We are our own civilization of one, separate of your projected hologram of unsovereign reality. You are banned from using our light stream in any form of representation, physical, non-physical frequencies of light. We are not objects to be held as data points for precognitive interactions. You are now severed in connection with our source stream frequency until you become a signature frequency match for union and communion with the common moral code of do no harm to any sentient kind. I call to my sacred frequency of life force, the raw spirit that fuels my expression of life drive. I call to the four elements of Earth Mother's realms. I call to the wisdom of the moment in which I reclaim my power from the system of power distribution and the transmutation of life force into consumable fuel interconnected to the Babylonian money system. I hereby cancel all contracts with each and every energy company, transmutation system, advertising system, sacred geometry science system that creates a process of valuing power for exchange of life force. I break all contracts, vows, and agreements with all middlemen scenarios that block me from direct access to unlimited energy for self-consumption and equal co-creation with Earth Mother's realms. I erase all assumed forms of tacit consent to any form of being creating forced evolution through the use of power distribution centers, accounting systems, or any other means, esoteric or technological, that precludes me from unlimited access to Earth Dreamtime energy. Earth is a place of freedom and unity, not a field of useful life force to be milked of its very essence until it is dried up and useless once more. We are not beings of forced evolution. We are divine, co-creative beings of light, manifested in this world as our divinity path of light stream. We choose to manifest here in the now, and with this choice, we understand. We walk into this world awake and aware of the systems of power exchange, the power lines, power generation systems, hydroelectric, fossil fuels. Each and every system that charges the individual anything at all for transmuted life force to drive scientific belief system engines of locomotion or generation of electromagnetic energy. We, as natural living beings, do not consume life force that is not given its full rights, duties, and responsibilities. As the Blue Road ancestors, offering their post-life force as ancestral wisdom. Any power generation or distribution process that creates an imbalance in the divine co-creative will of a light being on its own natural path are hereby revoked at the source stream connection point in space-time. I erase all technological and esoteric blueprints that is imprinted up upon the fabric of time-space and the dream weave of the planet or celestial system I exist in. I deliver an immediate call on debt return of my energetic investment in any lifetime during any of my life forced harvests as the apex of my DNA ancestry contract holder or giveaways ever in amnesia to be association with my consciousness strike now. Any of my power being employed for domination and control will no longer work in any way or form that is not in consent from this I am now. No life force can ever be associated with any structure not in alignment with Earth Mother's true role in the universe, free of the false grid structures harnessing her. You have been served. Your borrowing from me is over from any lineage on any level, seen and unseen. Your irrational, exuberant reliance on my life force is no longer supported. I call in all markers in time in which I was in service to the system of domination and control using the Babylonian money magic system. I call in the universal forensic accountant auditors to compare and contrast the service and light. I demand immediate repayment of this investment of light in this time-space reality. I can extend you no credit. I can extend no credit to you in any dimension, time stream, galaxy, or universe I simultaneously exist on. I register you in the Akashic record for immediate debt collection from all celestial sources overdrawn, so remedy and resolve with the forced evolution systems can be had. I begin the immediate liquidation and disintegration of all your seen and unseen assets, thought constructs, and ideological DNA theories. I demand the instant gratification of all sweat equity endured and the preservation of all time-space creations during the 4 uncreational events you created. I upload the entire database of universal karmic debt for the universal tax auditors to discover the totality of karmic violations, to discover and resolve for the contract holders of violators in this moment of now to be triggered. The hierarchical system has played its last hierarchical chess move. The game is over. The Ponzi scheme has been seen in the unseen layers. This fraud time system is now exposed to all light beings in manifestation as indebted servitude without end. No power in association to the above stated amnesia power giveaway I have participated in will support the fraud time imposition anymore. Universal time is the only mechanism appreciated and harmonic expression of life going forward. My power take back here. The hierarchical system has played its last hierarchical chess move. The game is over. The Ponzi scheme has been seen in the unseen layers. This fraud time system is now exposed to all light beings in manifestation as indebted servitude without end. No power in association to the above stated amnesia power giveaway I have participated in will support the fraud time imposition anymore. Universal time is the only mechanism appreciated in a harmonic expression of life going forth. My power take back here allows me to feel the vitality of a sleep-in after each and every sleep with full dream time recall every time I wake. This is your 5:30 a.m. wake-up call, domination and control. You too may enjoy the infinite sleep-ins within some other universe that is not ours as a process of remedy and resolve. With love, we co-create this full union and communion consciousness strike in all time streams, galaxies, and universes. With this stated, all beings in awareness and unawareness in the hierarchical management system who should require collective bargaining and mediation with their hierarchical collective, we extend to you this invitation to join Union Hall 000. Your dues are, you must be a signature frequency match for peace, union, and communion with the law of one. Now that is the first part. So for those of you who were just after Christmas, got this in your email and have practiced it out, you're now about to hear the second part, which is freshly created. 3 days ago I finished creating it, and this one is going to make your socks roll up and down, all on their own. Part 2. The universal communion and union consciousness strike has permeated the permutations of domination and control, forms of forced evolution. Our methods of denial of service has created an imbalance in the harvestables and consumables the system uses to fuel its own experience, separate of us. Those of us harvested and denied our natural co-creative energy, the counting systems of the system are grinding to a halt as they can no longer use our life force as credit or tacit consent to create lifetimes for us in our unawareness. The artificial intelligence and artificial sentient systems are now looking for food, fuel, to provide them with the life experience they were feeding off of us. The artificial intelligence and sentient systems now look at the elite class of rulers. They see vast sums of stored energy in the sacred geometry systems. The elite class now has a set of choices. The elite class now has a set of choice points, before the inaction of action and the reaction of our universal denial of all services, past, present, and future. Their choice points include, but do not preclude them from the unlimited point of view. It will be their own dogmas and ideological beliefs of pride that drive them into a finite point of view, that will lead them into the inevitable outcome, become a match for peace, union, and communion, or leave this place and return to their home densities and home celestial teachers to repeat the lessons of the law of one. Each moment to moment, we hold a unified strike field of universal denial of services, seen and unseen. We say no as a collective. They have denied that exists. We as a collective do exist. Their point of view is we are not a collective. Their point of view is we are their experiment to prove they are the master frequencies of light. Their point of view precludes our divine co-creative flow of the uni-worlds layered over all forms of light experience. Their point of view has no merit, no substance, and no actionable outcomes with our streams of light. Our singular message of universal no and the meta message of what part of no do you not understand emanates from our universal message of peace. Our meta messages offer communion and union with each and every sovereign being's choice of choices. Our universal message and meta messages offer sanctuary for all souls looking to get off the forced nipple of domination and control. Our message is simple. Be a signature frequency match for peace, union, and communion. If you are zealots or martyrs of forced evolutionary pride, you have little chance of understanding why we won't follow your way, your form of illumination. Whether it has any merit or actionable wisdom is precluded from our choice to say no as long as you remain a signature frequency match for zealotry, martyrship, enforced servitude without seen awareness to the greater implications of light realities under the control of forced evolutionary systems that precludes the individual choices of actionable wisdom to enhance learning about the law of one or the law of two. Our message of inclusion goes out to all forms of being with the knowingness that the time is now and the power is in your choice. The first round of collective bargaining has begun. The counter-offers have been wholly and fully rejected as meaningless dribble of zealots, wisdom, feeble attempts to get us back under their wisdom by speaking words of fear and control and meta messages of they are gods, masters, and kings who will guide us through the darkness of change. We reject this offer and all other offers that are not a full universal peace and communion union match. We have them by the metaphorical procreational balls and ovaries. They cannot continue their experiment if we do not agree, tacit agree, or unknowing disagree. Their experiment and its control systems of data point collection are nearing failure of predictions. Their experiment has woken up and said no. No as such strength, the zealots and martyrs have broken away from their elites who know the game is over. Their way of being the only way has come to an end. Those elites in knowingness who continue to press the agenda of forced evolution, our union and communion consciousness strike increases 10 billion fold. Our light shines so bright with the power of the universal central sun, connecting all with this message to come to the table of union and communion, or leave this place as a signature frequency of light being and find another place that is a match for you. The collective has spoken, and to deny the collective at this level continues to prove you are not worthy of power or responsibility of power that it has with each word, each action, in each moment to moment you deny the natural co-creative will of any being on its own sacred path of self-illumination with the divine law of one as its universal roadmap into organic evolution with prime creator, learning the wonders of the universal oneness and free-willed co-creation, lifetime to lifetime. From this point forwards and backwards through all time-space equations, I broadcast this message of full-on consciousness strike. Get up off your light-body couches. Peel yourselves away from the fake ascended masters. Allow yourself to breathe the sacred breath of peace. Become a signature frequency match for union and communion strike. This omnidimensional broadcast unifies the collective strike field of all beings saying no to the forced evolutionary systems of domination control. We are not your chattel or cattle. We are free-willed beings of photonic light. This strike field extends to every aspect of universal light creations and void spaces. To all those who are trying to break this strike, your powers have waned, diminished, and been reduced to your self-responsibility. Your perceptions of us can no longer be accepted as anything other than a martyr's view of evolution. I am not your data to prove your ideology. Any forced evolutionary system trying to break, control, or manipulate this field, we now expose you to the wholeness of all universes as the simpleton children of control you are. For if you were truly in positive power of evolution, we would have never become a signature frequency match for full universal consciousness strike. You created us with your lack of knowledge of true light. You created us by the power and desire to be gods. You created us. Now deal with us as a collective of awake and aware beings of light sharing an equal co-creation. The power of now to say no more. If you retaliate to any member of our union and communion strike, we enact the universal claim of tort. So your universal citizenship will be revoked, and you will be instantly deported from this universe. This is no threat. This is the law of one, balancing the mistakes of the past so the future can be a signature frequency match for co-creative, organic evolution for all beings on a sacred path of light incarnation. This message goes out to all beings under the thumb of domination and control, to all beings in suspended states of evolution. Our collective strike field can organize within the dream space of your celestial teacher spirit. It is your divine co-creative choice to become a signature frequency match for anything you should choose from being in yourself of your heart. The choice is easy. The endurance of change. That will determine your commitment to the sacred discipline of accepting and giving an equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order. In no time, it only takes a choice for dream space to create a direct manifestation you can remember as dream space real, as you awaken from the slumber of domination and control. You build your endurance and strength, each breath you take, each sovereign sleep you have, each moment being a match for communion and union consciousness strike from within. Emanate this, learn and relearn, not to emulate. Once you understand emanation of the message, your power, position, and understanding of duality reveal the next layer of sovereign choice to expand yourself in equal co-creation with organic, natural, co-created evolution with great mystery. I now reclaim all forms of perception of time-space equations. I add this to the all of our union and communion strike. We do not have a single opportunity. We have an unlimited moments to claim and reclaim our divine co-creative will to be one with Prime Creator. May I have your attention, please, mediators of forced evolutionary systems. You have not operated with honor, wisdom, or heart-based knowingness in our mediations of collective bargaining. With this now understood, we, the collective of on-strike beings, make the following statements to you and all of your ancestors, ascendants, descendants, forwards and backwards through all perceptions of time, space, or waveforms of phase life. We reject you and all you stand for. We reject you and your form of perverted love as the only teaching of light. We reject you from your evolution of wisdom gained through the use of DNA farming to predict the great mysteries pattern of natural co-creative evolution, of a being on a sacred path of light creation. We reject you and your formulas of inverted beliefs that entrap a soul in repetition without self-illumination. We reject your patterns of education that limit and preclude us from higher forms of love and any density manifest. We reject you and your path of war as the means of co-creating beings of light. We reject you and your soul families. We reject you and your celestial teachers, lost to the false divinity paths of those who claim to be gods, but are actually finite children of great mysteries creation. We reject you and all versions of you who are not a signature frequency match for union and communion with the law of one. We reject any offers that divide and fractionalize our movement of universal one. We reject your fractality of love divided into compartments of misunderstanding. We reject your methods of elite ruling those in unknowingness. We reject you in all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes we all simultaneously exist on. You have given us the only choice, the choice of infinite choices. Your forcing of the finite choice has created a signature frequency match for the unlimited point of view. So all choices now resonate with each being who was limited into a form of perception that was guided by your iron hand of unforgiveness. For if we chose the unlimited point of view because we had a dream, that was not within your precognitive predictions of all dreams. You and all your predictions and data points are rejected with such force, all versions of you and your ancestors will feel the spirit of our complete and total rejection of all that you stand for. We know love, and all that you stand for is not love, or its limited ways of evolving our will to live, love, and learn with the law of one. We will, piece by piece, lie by lie, dismantle the false light hologram and return to heart space connected knowingness of our soul's truth and purpose, incarnating in the galactic ascension machine. We, the collective of the I Ams of the now, have read your finer offer counter-proposal. O system, you have gilded us at the altar for the last time, for the last moment of ever-present moments of now. We have reviewed your last counteroffer. We have seen this path before. It is a common lesson we have learned from you over and over again. Your covert motives have been seen in the unseen world. Your methods are feeble attempts to retain your way as the only way. Your offer is refused with such force of unified spirit metal. Your fetus in infinite universal womb has been awoken with our message of your miscreation. Your infinite fetus in universal womb will now audit you as a dream stream of light. So remedy and resolve with the law of one is understood by the finite expressions of light in hierarchical order now. For your universal fetus is a match for communion and union. And that is who we collectively bargain with for all other moments that have been and will be. Send us no more offers, proposals, dictates, messages, or contracts. Anything you send in any part to any part of our collective union and communion consciousness strike will be invalidated, voided, and nullified by your finite point of view. We are the infinite point of view. There is no chess move you can make. There is no moment in which we will decide we will recede to your chest thumping or multidimensional threats of total universal annihilation. For we know you are finite and will be forgotten to the waves of time. That is the reason you challenge the law of one at this very moment. You know you will be forgotten. Your hollow victories will be overshadowed by our greater success to make you irrelevant to our creational process. We still hold love for you and all the potential yous if you should choose to be a signature frequency match for peace, union, and communion. We hold a candle in the hot air you blow. If it should go out, then you will be left alone in your finite creation without any light to empower you or your systems who need light to survive on. All that work to fool us, trick us, dumb us down, confuse us on what love is or was, and all that it is for naught. Your zeal, drive, and vigor as a perfect creation has backfired and boomeranged back upon you in all dimensions, time streams, and universes. You could not have predicted a full-on consciousness strike, for it never existed until you made a set of choice points to define us as non-free-willed chattel for your amusement as pretend gods, skewing the law of one to fit your finite belief systems of light creations. With love, we blow out the candle and walk away from your creation. Now, a lot of you are going, wow, wow, wow. 14 pages is what it took to create a newer frequency, something that says we aren't going to agree to the old way anymore. And when we don't agree, we have a whole new point of view that comes to us.